The sky turned red. Smoke rose from the distant colony towers where buildings once stood tall. Now, they were just shadows burning and broken. Private Darren Gray ran through the chaos, breathing hard, his rifle warm in his hands. The air was thick with dust and screams. Lasers flew above his head, lighting up the sky like fireworks. But this was no celebration. It was war. Again, the alien race called the Zarel had returned. After 5 years of silence, they struck hard and fast, no warning, no mercy. Darren wasn't even supposed to be on this colony. He had been passing through, a cargo escort mission. Nothing serious, but now, everything had changed. As he ducked behind a crashed transport, he heard a soft cry. Not human. He turned quickly, weapon ready, but what he saw wasn't a soldier. It was a girl. No, an alien girl. She looked injured. Her skin shimmered faint blue under the firelight. Her eyes were wide, not in fear, but in pain. Next to her, another figure stirred. Her sister, maybe. This one looked older. She held a metal shard in one hand and tried to defend the younger one. Darren didn't shoot. They weren't armed. He lowered his weapon slowly and held out his hand. "It's okay," he said softly, though he knew they probably didn't understand him. "I won't hurt you." To his surprise, the older one stepped aside. She touched the younger girl's forehead gently and whispered something in her language. Then she looked at Darren and nodded. He wasn't sure why, but something in her eyes said, "Help her." Darren acted on instinct. He slung his rifle back and lifted the smaller alien girl into his arms. She was cold. Too cold. Her skin was glowing faintly now, and her body trembled. "She's burning up," he muttered. "Fever?" But it didn't feel like sickness. It felt strange, alive. He took both sisters back to the emergency shelter. His hideout was inside the old mining tunnels, cold, dry, and hidden from scanners. No one would find them there. He placed the younger one on a makeshift bed. The older sister watched silently from a corner, her expression unreadable. "Water," Darren said, offering a cup. "Food. You'll need both." The older sister nodded slightly and took the supplies. Still no words. No sound, but her eyes. They were thankful. Hours passed. Darren checked outside. No movement. The scanners were quiet. When he returned inside, he noticed something. The younger sister's body temperature was rising. Too fast. Her skin was glowing even brighter. Her breathing shallow, quick, like she was fighting something inside. "Hey," he said, kneeling beside her. "What's happening to her?" He looked at the older sister. Still quiet. Still watching. Then she finally spoke. Just one word. "Heat." The word echoed in the room. "Heat?" he repeated. "You mean like fever? Is she sick?" The older sister shook her head, slowly. Then she pointed at the girl, then at him. Darren frowned. "What are you trying to say?" The older sister hesitated. Then she said a sentence that chilled his spine. "She chooses." "What?" "She is entering mating season." Darren blinked. "Wait, what?" He stood up fast, backing away. No, that can't be right. But the signs were there. The rising heat, the glowing skin, the way the girl's eyes followed him every time he moved. Her breathing changed when he got close. Darren turned toward the door. "Okay, we just need to wait this out." But the older sister shook her head. "Again, you must be careful." Darren narrowed his eyes. "What do you mean, she will come?" The shelter was quiet, but Darren couldn't relax. He sat on an old crate, watching the younger alien girl sleep. Her body glowed faintly in the dark, soft pulses of light running under her skin. It looked beautiful, too beautiful. But that beauty scared him now. The older sister stood in the shadows, arms crossed, eyes never leaving her younger sibling. Darren finally broke the silence. How long does this heat last? The alien woman didn't answer right away. Then softly she said, 3 nights. 3 nights? Of this? He ran a hand through his short hair. You have to be kidding me. The woman didn't smile. She cannot control it. It is instinct. If she chooses you, her body will try to complete the cycle. If denied, she will grow weaker. Sometimes, they do not survive. Darren's stomach turned. What are you saying? That I have to? No, the sister said quickly. You must not. Not yet. Her mind is not clear, but you must not let her near you alone. Darren shook his head. Then I'll keep the door locked. Simple. He looked over at the sleeping girl again. She had curled into a ball, her skin still glowing, her breathing shallow. How old is she? He asked quietly. Old enough, the sister replied. But still young, too young to face this alone. You mean this is her first time? The sister nodded once. She does not understand the feelings yet. They confuse her. She thinks it is pain, but soon her body will seek comfort. It will seek closeness. Darren swallowed hard. Why me? She trusts you. You saved her. Darren stood and began to pace. This is all wrong. I'm a soldier, not whatever this is. You are human, the sister said. Your kind is rare among us, strong, warm. It makes the bond easier. He stopped pacing and stared at her. Wait, you're saying humans can trigger it? Yes, even more than our own males. Darren let out a sigh and sat down again. Great, just great. Suddenly, the door alarm beeped softly motion outside. Darren rushed to the console and scanned the screen. 2 figures. Not alien, not friendly. Damn, patrols. He turned to the sister. Hide her, now. She lifted the younger girl gently and disappeared into the back tunnel. Darren grabbed his rifle and waited. Seconds later, 2 human soldiers entered. They looked tired, dirty like they had been searching for hours. Private Gray, one of them said, lowering his weapon. Heard. You were alive. Still breathing, Darren replied. What are you doing out here alone? Looking for survivors, he lied. Didn't find any. The second soldier sniffed the air. Smells weird in here. Darren's heart raced. Old fuel tanks, he said quickly. This place hasn't been used in years. The first soldier walked deeper into the room. You sure you're alone? Yeah. The soldier glanced toward the tunnel entrance. What's back there? Dead end, Darren lied again. They looked at him, suspicious. The second soldier stepped closer. HQ says we shoot any Zarel on sight. You didn't see any? Darren held his breath. No. A tense silence followed. Then the first soldier nodded. All right. We'll move on. Stay sharp. They turned and left. Darren waited until the scanner cleared, then shut the door tight. The sister returned, carrying her sibling in her arms. They would have killed us, she said flatly. Yeah, Darren replied, rubbing his eyes. I know. You risked much. I didn't do it for praise. She laid the girl down gently. She grows warmer. I can tell, Darren muttered. You must lock your room. Every night. She may not know what she's doing. I will, he promised. Trust me. But part of him wondered. Would she really come? The first night passed without incident. Darren locked his room tight, reinforced it with a steel bar, and even set a silent alarm. Just in case. He slept light, one hand on his weapon, listening for any strange sound, but nothing happened. In the morning, he found the younger alien girl sleeping peacefully. The older sister sat beside her, eyes tired but alert. She is stable, the sister sighed. For now, Darren nodded. Good, maybe it's over? The sister didn't answer. Later that day, while Darren repaired one of the solar panels outside, he noticed something odd. His portable scanner started beeping. Biometric spike. Detected, the device said in a flat voice. He looked at the screen. The spike came from inside the shelter from the girl. Heart rate, rising. Body temperature, rising. Hormone level, extreme. He tapped the screen. What the hell? Before he could finish, a smell hit his nose. Sweet, strange, warmed out like flowers in summer mixed with fire. Darren blinked and shook his head. It made his heart beat faster. He entered the shelter, and that's when he noticed she was awake now. The younger alien girl sat up, eyes wide and glowing faint violet. Her chest rose and fell quickly. Her skin glimmered in patterns, almost like signals pulsing under the surface. She stared at Darren like she'd never seen him before. "Hey," he said carefully, "you feeling better?" She didn't respond with words. Instead, she tilted her head, almost like she was studying him. Darren took a step back. The scent grew stronger. From the corner, the older sister watched quietly. "She is sensing you," she said. "I can tell." Darren muttered, "She looks like she wants to eat me." The sister stood. "Not eat, claim." "Yeah, much better," he said sarcastically. "She is in phase 2 now. Her senses are open. Your presence affects her more than you know. I didn't do anything. Your smell, your voice, even your heat, it draws her." He looked at the girl again. Her eyes shimmered now, and her fingers clutched the blanket tightly. "She's trembling." "Yes," the sister said. "She is holding herself back." Darren frowned. "Why? If her body's pushing her forward, why is she stopping?" "Because she is scared," the sister replied. "And respectful." That caught him off guard. "She respects me?" "You saved her. In her mind, you are more than just a mate. You are her protector." Darren sighed and sat down at the edge of the room, far from the girl. "This is complicated." The sister gave a soft smile. "Desire always is." Hours passed. Darren kept busy with repairs and scanning the area for movement. But every time he returned, he felt those eyes watching him. She never spoke. Just stared, studied, waited. That evening, Darren cooked simple rations. Nothing fancy, just heat packs and protein blocks. But when he handed the food to the girl, their fingers touched. She gasped. Darren pulled back quickly. Her breath hitched, and her skin flared brighter for a second. Then she clutched the food and curled away. "What just happened?" he asked the sister. "She felt you. Your skin, it is like lightning to her now." Darren stood, shaken. "This is getting dangerous." "She still fights it," the sister said. "But tomorrow night, the final phase will begin." "Final phase?" "She will not wait anymore. Her instincts will push her. If she finds herself alone with you." Darren didn't let her finish. "I'll keep the door locked," he said. "Double this time. She may still find a way." "I won't make it easy." The sister looked down. "She has chosen you. But if you do not return that choice, she must endure the pain alone. What happens if she fails? She may lose control, hurt herself, or..." Darren's voice was low. "Die?" The sister nodded slowly. The air grew heavy with silence. Darren looked at the girl again. She had finished her food and was now sitting near the wall, eyes closed, trying to stay calm. He had fought many battles, faced monsters, survived bombings, but this scared him more, because it wasn't just about war or duty anymore. It was about something ancient, something primal, and it was knocking at his door. The sun had set. Again, day 2 was ending, and the tension inside the shelter was heavier than ever. Darren stood at the door to his small sleeping room. A fixed steel panel reinforced with a locking bar and a digital keypad. He checked it 3 times. Then he set a motion sensor outside, just in case. Behind him, the older sister watched silently, arms folded. "Smart choice," she said. "I don't want to hurt her. But I can't let anything happen. She won't attack you. Not like a beast, but her body will push her closer, and her heart is already there." Darren sighed. "And that makes it harder. She won't understand why you push her away. She's not in her right mind." "She is," the sister corrected. "Her body is confused, but her feelings are real. She knows what she wants." Darren hesitated. "And if I let her in, she will be yours. In her species, it is a sacred bond, lifelong." Darren nodded slowly and stepped inside his room. "Then I better keep this locked." The sister didn't argue. Inside the room, Darren sat down on the narrow cot, the rifle leaning against the wall, just in case. He tried to sleep. He really did, but the scent was stronger tonight that it wasn't just sweet now. It was deeper, thicker, like a fog slipping under the door. It pulled at something deep inside him. Something human, something male. He turned over on the bed, groaning softly. "Focus, Gray. You're a soldier, not an animal." Outside, the scanner beeped once. Movement detected. Darren froze. Another beep. He stood and walked to the door. Quietly, slowly. He pressed the small screen. Subject identified. Zyrel, female, elevated temperature detected. Darren whispered, "Oh no." He looked at the scanner feed. The younger alien girl was standing right outside his door, alone, barefoot, her glowing skin now pulsing in soft waves of pink and violet. She didn't knock. She didn't speak. She just stood there, waiting. "Why now?" he muttered. "Why tonight?" Then he heard it, a soft voice. From behind the door. "I feel cold." Her voice was trembling, soft, almost like a child lost in the dark. Darren's hand hovered over the lock panel. "No," he whispered to himself. "You promised." He turned away from the door, but she spoke again. "Please. I don't understand this pain. It burns. It hurts." Darren closed his eyes. "I can't help you like that," he said through the door. She was silent for a moment. Then she said something that hit his heart harder than a bullet. "I trust you." "Only you." He clenched his fists. "You don't know what you're doing. Your body is in control. This isn't love." She didn't respond, but the scent grew stronger, almost suffocating. Now he heard her breathing. Slow, shaky. Then the lock beeped. Error. Unauthorized attempt. Darren's eyes shot open. She was trying to override the keypad. How did she? Another beep. Error code mismatched. Then silence. But he could hear her. Still there. Still waiting. Still in pain. He sat back down on the bed, head in his hands. "She's not trying to hurt me," he whispered. "She just doesn't want to be alone." Then he remembered the sister's words. If she is denied again, she may lose control. Darren checked the time. 4 hours till sunrise. 4 long hours. He stayed awake the whole time, watching the scanner. The girl never left. She didn't knock again, didn't beg. She just stayed. As if her heart wouldn't allow her to give up. When dawn finally came, the scanner beeped one last time. Subject departed. She was gone. Darren opened the door carefully. Hallway was empty except for a folded piece of cloth left on the floor. Her scarf, still warm from her touch. Darren didn't speak much the next morning. He sat in silence, the alien girl's scarf still folded on the table in front of him. He hadn't told her sister what happened, but from the look in the older one's eyes, she already knew. "She stayed outside your door all night," the sister said calmly. Darren nodded. "Yeah. She is strong. She shouldn't have. To be. The older sister tilted her head. Are you angry at her? No, Darren said softly. I'm angry at myself. For not knowing what to do. There was a long pause. Then she said, Tonight is the third night. He didn't respond. She may not wait outside this time. I know. The rest of the day passed in quiet routine. Darren worked on the generator. The older sister watched the forest with a scope. The younger girl, she stayed hidden. But Darren could feel her presence. Every time he walked into a room, he knew she had just been there. She was avoiding him. But not out of fear. She was holding herself back. As sunset approached, Darren checked the scanner logs again. Her body temperature had returned to normal for a few hours. But now it was climbing again. Fast. Phase 3 had begun. He stared at the screen. Then at his door. He didn't feel like locking it this time, but he did anyway, even double-checked. He told himself it was the right thing, the honorable thing. Still, something deep inside him twisted. Night came. The air outside was quiet. Not even wind. Inside the shelter, every sound felt louder. Every breath. Every small creak of the walls. Darren lay on his bed, fully dressed. Weapon close. He waited. Midnight passed. Nothing. 1 hour. Still nothing. Then, click. The lock. He sat up straight. Click. Click. A soft whirring noise. Mechanical override. His heart pounded. He rushed to the panel. What the hell? Override key accepted. Lock. Disengaged. The door slid open slowly. Darren stepped back, and there she was, the younger alien girl, barefoot again, her skin softly glowing, even brighter now. Her eyes no longer confused, but calm. She walked in slowly, not saying a word. Darren swallowed hard. How did you override the door? She didn't answer, just looked down and held up something in her hand, a thin silver disc. The override key. Darren recognized it. I never gave you that. She finally spoke. Your jacket pocket. He blinked. The day before, he had left it on the chair. She had searched it. She had planned this, but she wasn't rushing toward him. She wasn't trembling or desperate. She was still. I'm sorry, she said gently. I just want to talk. Darren lowered his guard a little. Talk? I don't understand this feeling. But I know it's because of you. I see you. And my heart gets loud. I feel fire in my chest, and I'm not afraid. Darren took a step closer. You should be. This isn't normal. You're in heat. It's not your fault, but it's not real either. She looked up, her eyes glowing softly. But it feels real to me. He paused. You trust me? She nodded. Then trust me now. We wait. She tilted her head. Wait for what? For the heat to pass. If you still feel something after, then we talk about it. She stepped closer. Close enough for him to feel the warmth of her skin. And if I don't? Then you go on with your life, Darren said. And I'll still protect you. Her glowing hand reached for his, but stopped right before touching. Then she slowly stepped back. I'll wait, she said. She turned and walked out of the room quiet as she came. This time, she didn't try to stay, but the moment she left, Darren sat back down, heart racing. Door stayed open behind him. He didn't close it. He couldn't, because deep inside, he didn't want to. Asterisk morning light filtered through the cracks in the shelter walls. Darren hadn't slept. Not even for a minute. He sat on the edge of the bed, his hands clasped together, staring at the floor. The scent was still faint in the air, sweet and strange, but his thoughts weren't on instinct anymore. They were on her. The way she had walked in without fear. The way she had looked at him, not with hunger, but with trust. He heard footsteps outside and looked up. The older sister entered, carrying a container of water. She placed it on the table without a word. She didn't come back last night. Darren said quietly. She made her choice, the sister replied. Darren glanced at her. What does that mean? She wants you. But she respects your decision. She will not force herself. She said she would wait. The sister nodded. But her body will not. Darren stood and walked to the scanner. The readings were dropping. She's stabilizing? Yes, the sister said. Her body is passing the final stage. The fever is fading. Darren let out a slow breath. So it's over. Not quite. He turned to her. She will soon be clear in both body and mind, the sister continued. But her heart will still remember what she felt, what she wanted, and if I ignore that, she may never recover emotionally. This phase leaves a mark on our kind, especially when it ends in rejection. Darren rubbed the back of his neck. I didn't reject her. I protected her. She knows that. But now, she will need a choice of her own. Darren looked toward the hall that led to the back room where the younger sister had been staying. He hadn't seen her this morning. Not even a glimpse. He walked down the hallway slowly. At the end, he found her sitting on the floor, wrapped in a blanket. The glow on her skin was almost gone now. She looked normal, tired but calm. Her eyes met his. I'm sorry, she whispered. For what? For putting you in danger. For making you uncomfortable. Darren shook his head. You didn't do anything wrong. Your body was reacting. You were trying to survive. She gave a faint smile. And you kept me alive. They sat in silence for a moment. Then she asked, Do you still think it wasn't real? Darren paused. I think your heat pushed your feelings faster than they should have grown. She nodded. But not fake. He hesitated. No, not fake. She looked down at her hands. Then what now? Darren sat beside her, keeping a small space between them. You wait. You let your body fully settle. And if what you feel is still there afterward, then I'll be here. Her eyes widened a little. You mean that? He smiled softly. I didn't lock the door last night, did I? She laughed soft and warm. The first real laugh since the war started. Then she leaned gently against his shoulder. No pressure. No desperation. Just peace. He didn't move away, for the first time in days. It wasn't about instinct. It was about choice. And both of them had made theirs. Later that evening, the older sister returned from patrol and saw them sitting together outside the shelter. Not touching. Just talking, laughing, watching the stars. She smiled to herself and whispered she survived the heat and found something better. The scanner beeped softly, but this time it wasn't danger. It was a ship, approaching fast. The Zyrel crest flashed across the screen. The royal family had arrived? Asterisk, the Zyrel royal ship hovered silently over the broken trees. It didn't fire. It didn't scan. It simply landed slowly, smoothly, just outside the shelter's edge. Darren stood at the entrance, his rifle slung but powered down. He wasn't afraid. Not this time. Beside him stood the older sister, tall and calm as ever. And just behind them, the younger alien girl. Her skin had returned to its normal pale blue shimmer, the glow completely gone. But her eyes still held that same soft fire. The ship's ramp hissed open. 3 armored Zyrel guards stepped out first, followed by a tall, elegant alien woman draped in ceremonial armor. Her presence was powerful, royal. Her silver crest glowed. At her throat, she was their commander. And their queen. Her eyes scanned the humans, then landed on the younger girl. She frowned. I am Queen Virel of the 5th Crest. Identify yourselves. The older sister stepped forward and bowed slightly. Commander Virel, I am Lyra, soldier of the outer colonies. This is my sister, Rena. The queen's gaze narrowed. Rena was believed lost during the last attack. She was saved, Lyra said. By him. Her hand pointed to Darren. The Queen looked at him coldly. A human? Why? Rena stepped forward, her voice quiet but clear. He found me under the rubble. He protected me when I was weak, even when I was in heat. The Zarel guard shifted. Uncomfortably, the Queen stiffened. You were in mating cycle? Rena nodded. Yes, and I chose him. The air fell silent. Everyone, even the trees, seemed to freeze in that moment. You chose a human? Queen Virel asked slowly. Rena's voice trembled, but she didn't back down. I wanted him, not just because of the heat, but because he saw me as more than a body. He locked his door. He refused my body, but he opened his heart. Darren blinked out that he hadn't expected. The Queen looked between them. This bond, has it been completed? Darren stepped forward. No, I didn't touch her. I just stayed with her. Queen Virel's expression softened, just a little. Then the decision is not yet sealed. Rena looked to Darren. But I still choose him. A murmur ran through the guards. You know what that means, Queen Virel said. Rena nodded. If he accepts, the bond will be final. The Queen turned to Darren. You have a choice, human. If you say yes, she becomes yours for life. Her heat will never return. For another, her name will be tied to yours in our records. Forever. Darren took a slow breath. He looked at Rena. She stood still. Calm. No glowing skin, no trembling, no pressure. Only honesty. Only trust. Only her. He reached out his hand. Then I accept. Rena stepped into him without hesitation, wrapping her fingers in his. The moment they touched, her skin shimmered once more, but this time not with heat, but with joy. A new color danced along her arms, soft gold and pink like dawn. Queen Virel nodded. Then so it shall be. She looked at the guards. Record the bond. Rena of Crest 5 is now mate bonded to Darren Gray of Earth. The guards tapped their devices. The data was entered. It was done. Darren glanced at Lyra. What happens now? Your family now, she smiled. No one will ever question it. Queen Virel walked forward, and for the first time, she looked at Darren not as a stranger, but with something close to respect. Few resist the pull of heat, she said. Fewer still earn the love that follows it. Darren gave a small nod. I wasn't trying to earn anything. That's why you earned it, the Queen replied. She turned to her ship. We leave in an hour. Your bond is recognized. But your future is your own to build. Then she stepped aboard, and the ramp sealed behind her as the ship rose into the sky. Rena turned to Darren and leaned her head on his shoulder. I'm not burning anymore, she whispered. Darren smiled and pulled her gently closer. No, he said. Now you're glowing.